What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Uncle Scruff, my man Show Nuff. We're going to get this off our chest. See, we ran into a ballerina teacher that has a lot to say about the way things are coming up in society and the way the parents are responding to their kids coming up in society and how overall that things seem to be degrading. Now, she's a very nice lady. Sincere and I feel like she's sincere and she is definitely about the kids that she's trying to teach. But I'm gonna play a little bit of it. We're gonna come back and comment, and you be the judge. I think she's got a point.
I'm calling out all the parents. If you're a parent and your child is in pre-K to elementary school to high school, I'm calling you out. The children today, I have never experienced, and I'm 22. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I teach 5-year-olds ballet, 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you heard that. I'm sure you heard that.
In my mind, I already beat that little heifer behind.
I'm telling you, man. Yes, I hate to say it. I'd have caught him with a left, right, and a foot. Cause
I caught him with the Bob swat.
I'm telling you right now, I'm sure that a lot of people have taken that hands-off approach. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a talker. I will talk to my kid. But that hands-off approach comes once you can understand what we're talking about and getting that right. So, but now, the thing that she's addressing is how the kids are nowadays. And don't get me wrong, to a certain extent, even growing up, kids were disrespectful. To a certain extent, growing up, you always had that outlying kid who would always contest the adult in school. That didn't necessarily show what was going on at the house, though.
Right.
But most of the time, it was one or two. It wasn't a whole bunch. And eventually, they got, I'll say, for a lack of better term, shown the light. I don't know if it was a paddle or it was, your parent put their foot in their ass when they got home, but something happened. So now what it is, it seems to me that we have had a whole bunch of people grow up and have kids. And they said, oh, I didn't like when my parent did this. And oh, I didn't like when my parent did that. So I'm not going to do it. Now, here's the thing about that. There are a ton of things that I didn't like that my parents did. A ton. But as you get older, you analyze those things that you didn't like. Did those things make an impact? Did those things teach you a lesson? Or were they just frivolous, I'm going to whoop your ass just for the fun of it? Now, I will tell you right now, I had both sides. I got my butt beat for stuff that I did because I damn know what I know that I deserved that shit. 100%. 100%. When we were sitting there, I remember me and my cousin out playing with matches when we were real young, and my aunt came out, and then of course, you find cigarette butts on the ground and you pick them up. My aunt came outside and she was like, "Were you playing with matches?" We were like, "No." Let me smell your fingers. Yeah, that worked.
Didn't expect that.
Nah, not even a little bit. And yes, we got our butt whooped for playing with matches. Why? Because we could have set the house on fire. We could have done a whole bunch of stuff. And not to mention that, what are you smoking cigarettes for? Even though we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. When I say it was cute, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but we did not know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were, and we weren't even inhaling. Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
now, but that's the thing. Those things, minus the frivolous stuff, minus the stuff that didn't make sense, the ones that did make sense, I took those lessons, and I
Mm.
think it made me a better person. You know what I mean?
And so let me ask you this: how old were you around though in that era?
Oh man, we were in. How old are you when you're in kindergarten? Like five at the most,
About
4 or 5.
5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I had Miss Russ in John F. Kennedy School in Kingston, and it's funny. I remember her really well. She was a good teacher. But
And it's
my
funny because
master,
this is the age
oh,
group that she's teaching.
my master caught us for that, and we were just like, nope, 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 we didn't do it, we didn't do it. And she was like, let me smell your fingers, and she smelled them. She was like, why are you lying? And what do we do? Of course, we're kids, so we don't realize that the cigarette smell, I mean, the matches smell stays on your fingers. So then we look at her and we go, look at each other like, no, we were a
Damn,
little young, but we were like, damn, that.
damn.
But
Yeah.
we had consequences. We didn't have you're in trouble just to say you're in trouble. You know what I mean? Like some people, oh, give me your phone, you're in trouble. Okay, you give me
Right.
your phone, and 2 minutes later, it's like, here, you can have it back. It's like these kids that we're talking about right now, I think they forget the people talking about those kids are talking about the kids that they had. Your
Mm.
generation raised them.
Yeah.
So when it comes to kids outside, when it comes to my
Yeah.
kids outside, I take responsibility for them.
Yeah.
Now, I see other kids that are pretty unruly, and I see some parents that take responsibility, and I see some parents that don't. I'm never going to say they don't give a shit because I don't really like to classify a parent as not giving a shit, even though there's a whole bunch of them that do, but I'm not going to say that because I don't really want to
Mm.
have that argument. But I will say that they're not giving them the time required. And when I say the time required, first thing you start saying, oh, I'm a single parent. Oh, I'm doing all this stuff. Oh, I got to go to work. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. The time is not I'm not talking about that part. What I am talking about is having an open and honest dialogue when you do have the time. Make sure that you are open and honest with your kid. Make sure they know that they can come to you with anything. And everybody says, "Oh, my kid can come to me with anything." No, the rule in my house is
No,
you are
and a
allowed
lot
to
of times they
say
can't.
whatever you want to me as long as you say it respectfully. So you can tell me, "Dad, I hate you," but say it respectfully. I'm not gonna go nuts off that. I'm a parent. Your kids are gonna hate you sometimes. It is what it is. Your parents, as a parent, you got to be able to listen to your kid because if you can't, then you're gonna lose all communication with them, and that's when they go out and do what they're doing.
Well, the line between parent and child is smudged, and it's it I don't, it seems to me that it used to be, you have the parent and they have like the teenage child that gets unruly and so forth and so on. But then it just seems like next thing you know, you start hearing about it's the parent and a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. The next thing you hear about, oh, it's a 8-year-old or whatever. And now here we're talking about 5-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? And I am all for a parent that is loving to their child and so forth and allows them to do things because I like to think that I'm a very free spirited parent. I like for my son who is 2 years old to explore, to do things. I stand back and I even allow him to do things that, I'll let him pick up some of my tools, even though it can potentially hurt him. But I'm there to guide him and to show him, look, this is how you do it, and so forth. I'm all for letting kids do things and exploring and trying to figure out the world. But it comes a point in time because of my son, and if I'm telling him something and he starts telling me no, or he starts swinging on me or something like that or whatever, I'm going to draw a line that this is not okay. No, we're not doing this. This is daddy now, bro. You're not going to disrespect. You're not, and you have to do it then because if you don't, next thing you know, they're 4 years old and they're doing the same thing. and then they're pushing the limits further, and then they're 6 years old and they're doing the same thing, and then the limits are pushed even further, and then before you know it, they're 15, 16 years old, and they're sitting here having sex in your house, smoking weed and drinking and all this other stuff or whatever, doing that in your house. And then when you come to confront them about it, they're cussing you out, and they're closing a door and all this other, and then you can't do nothing with them. They don't want to go to school and all this other. So what, when is it that you're going to draw the line and keep that line very firm and visible so that these children don't cross the line? Where are we at with that?
I'm telling you, because it seems like we have lost all parent ability. I'm going to tell you that my parents before me didn't drop some of the balls that their parents before them dropped. But the biggest ball drop I've seen is from my parents to our generation,
Yeah,
because I have never seen so many teachers get slammed in school. I have never seen, they're to the points now where the kids are uncontrollable. Where what, the one teacher, the one dude, they took his Game Boy or his Switch or whatever, and he picked the teacher up, slammed on her neck, knocked her out, hopped on top of her, and started punching her in the face. I mean, and not only that, but what is making these kids this savage? I mean, really, they're at the point
exposure.
where there nothing matters.
Yeah, it's the exposure. Look at what we allow our children to watch on TV. Look at what our children are exposed to when we are not able to control the environment. Them being in school, we expect the school to keep that environment controlled for our children, safe for our children. And, we send our children out in the world. I send my son to daycare every day. And yeah, even though, somebody might come to the door and they take your child and they're smiling, oh, he had such a good day, and it's that and the third or whatever, you don't know what your children are being exposed to when you walk away.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. You have to trust that your children are being well taken care of and that they're being protected from things. And, how, how, how do you walk away and just not think about it? I walk away every day and I just want to know that my son is okay. I want to know that when my daughter goes to school, every morning that she walks out this door, I don't care what it is. I make sure that she says, Dad, I'm leaving, or tells my wife, I'm leaving. I'm on my way out. Okay. When you come home, when you get on the bus and you're on your way home, I want to know that you're on the bus. I want to know that you got to the house safely. When she goes to work, I want to know if you're walking, if you're riding your bike, when you get there, text me. You don't even got to call me. Just text me and let me know that you got there safely. I just need to know that, because every time we let our children out in this world, we are expecting the world to keep them safe. And that's where a lot of times as parents we go wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because we're expecting something of the world that we know better is not giving it to us, and it's not keeping our children safe.
It's not.
you know
It's not.
and and our children, they don't understand until they're in their 20s that everything that we did to protect them, or when you got that butt whooping that time, or when you got yelled at, or when you know what I'm saying, they don't understand that
Mm-hmm.
these are the things that we try to protect them, because I don't want you to make a bad decision, because my consequences are mild compared to consequences that you're going to have to deal with in the real world.
Oh
Because
yeah.
once you're out there, the world is unforgiving. You can go out there and then you talk shit to somebody and they're going to beat your ass. And then what are you going to do? Come home and tell daddy and mommy? And what you think? We're going to go out there and find these people and fight them? No, because
Mm-hmm.
there's consequences to that. They don't
Yeah.
understand the thread that gets woven into a linen suit. Because I'm telling you, it starts with something small, but then it just grows into something so big. And as a parent, we don't, it doesn't come with a manual. So what do we do? What do we do? And
Mm-hmm.
no, there's no village anymore. There's no
No.
village anymore.
not only that, but the village, we ourselves are actively tearing that village down. Because before, there were times, and my father talks to me about this, where if the neighbor saw you doing something wrong and they let your mom know, well, sometimes depending on how cool the neighbor was with the family, they can whoop your ass on the spot, send you home, and then you get your ass whooped at when you get home. But but at least the neighbor could report you doing something wrong to your parent, and your parent would take an action. And that's the thing that is not allowed, because the first thing is, well, why are you looking at my thing? Why are you taking my kid? But then I also somewhat understand it, because people are getting ridiculous where you're doing things like, I don't know, calling CPS because you're mad at the mom so that she can get her kid taken away. The things you shouldn't play with. You know what I mean?
No.
But check this out. Talking about the parents and stuff like that, we got to check this one piece of this video, because we're definitely gonna have to stop this.
Oh, there's a
Is
lot to
a
say, brother.
this I think she gets into how she addressed it with a parent. Check this out.
Parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today, I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit. And mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it.
What does that mean?
Hmm.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Are we serious right now?
Wow.
This is the parent is
Wow.
telling the teacher that clearly she's not going to do it. So who's the parent? Is the parent, or is the kid the parent? Because the kid is
The
telling the
kid,
parent
the
that
kid
this
is the
happens at
parent.
home.
The kid is the parent. And you know something? You know, she's a ballet teacher. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as African Americans, there's very few African Americans that are involved in ballet and things of that nature. Okay,
Yep.
it is a very different culture, which I personally absolutely love ballet.
Oh
I
yeah.
love
Oh
watching
yeah.
it, the gracefulness of it. I love it. And when you see mostly, and I don't like doing the whole race thing, but
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of Caucasians, they get their children to ballet or whatever because they know where that can take them. And there's a certain level of discipline. You know what I mean? If you don't have any discipline at home, why would you send your child somewhere where discipline is basically a requirement? I'm not going to pity, if I'm a ballet teacher, I'm not going to pity pat with your child. You're probably paying very good money to put your child in these ballet classes, these
Uh-huh.
dance classes and stuff. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and there are like all these dance studios all over the place. And I've even taken my two daughters, my two at the time they were both teenagers, and I took them both to this dance studio, and was trying to get them involved in something because I wanted to see them get into something and not just be non-productive on their
Mm-hmm.
off time, and just be, have something in your back pocket to say, hey, I can do this. I used to dance. I have a story to tell, and to be able to put your children in these classes, these ballet classes, a karate class, or anything, it requires that child to be disciplined when they are in that facility, learning whatever it
Absolutely.
is, whatever art it is, if it's the art of dance, if it is the art of martial arts, if it whatever it is, like, they require discipline. Don't send me your bad ass kids, and I'm trying to teach them something, but they want to sit here and be unruly and disrespected, and you're going to take away from the other children that are there that have some type of respect and
Mhm.
discipline. You're taking away from them, and that's not okay. And for the mother, sweetheart, you know you're dead wrong. Whoever you are, you know you dead wrong.
Mhm.
You dead wrong. A 5-year-old? What?
Absolutely. It's crazy. And like I said, that's another thing. When you were younger, listen to what this ballerina teacher said. When she told the parent about what was going on in the class, did your parent ever sit back and say, "Well, you know what, my kid, if he don't want to do it, if he don't want to do it, just let him, just lay him alone, leave him alone, because you know he's not going to do it." Or did they turn around and look at you like, "Yo, what's going on?"
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And you sat there and you looked at them and you were like, "Well, did you did you do this? Did you listen? Well, okay. So, uh-huh. Now something usually came after that. It was either wait till we get home, or you had the person that had the parent that had the stern enough look that was like, this is not gonna happen again, right? And uh-huh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah.
I'm
Because
telling you,
I was that parent. I
there you
was that
go.
parent. Because
There
I'm
you
pulling
go.
up. If I got caught, here was my line that I told my children. If I have to leave my job and miss work because of you acting up in school,
Uh-huh.
that's where I stop talking. I don't say nothing else. If I have to miss work because of you acting up in school,
We got something to talk about. We definitely do. So
and
that's
trust me when I
definitely a
tell you,
problem.
when I pull up and my kids see that they see, woo, bruh. And it's not. And the funny thing is, yo, Uncle Scruff, I promise you, I only put my hands on one of my children one time, because I never had to any
Hmm.
other time. And that one time I had to do that. And it
And
was a situation
listen,
that I made sure was not going to happen again.
listen, I'm telling you, my kids understand the thing that when they got their butts beat, and I'm saying it the old school way, yeah, spanking, whatever. When they got their butts beat, um, was 7 or 8 years ago. And that was the one thing that I just don't tolerate. Straight out lying. If you
Yeah,
don't lie, you know you're lying. You're gonna do that, we got a problem.
yeah.
Now, everything
Can't
else
trust a
we can
liar.
talk through. Everything
Can't
else
trust
we
a
can
liar.
talk through. But that we got a problem. And they know that.
It's unacceptable.
And the thing about it is
Unacceptable.
I listen to my daughter when something happens at school and the kids are like, aren't you scared to tell your dad? It's like, no, if I tell my dad, we'll talk about it. There you
Right.
go. There you
That's
go.
it.
Now,
That's
it doesn't
it.
mean that I'm not going to be a little upset, but I'm not beating your ass. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to talk about it. And then what ends up happening is we talk about it. We hopefully see the right and the wrong. Hopefully, by the end of the talk, we get on the same page and it shouldn't happen again because
That's
we
the key.
already talked about it,
That's the key.
discussed it, the pros and the cons.
That is the key. It should not have. Listen, we're going to drop it right here, and we are not going to have this conversation ever again.
Hmm.
Simple.
Because
Simple.
I definitely know some parents that as soon as the kid tells them what's going on, they put hands on them. Listen,
That's not it.
if you have if you respect me enough to not lie to me and tell me the truth, I'm gonna respect you enough not to beat your ass. I'm going to
Yeah,
tell you, and we're gonna talk about this.
yeah,
We're gonna get it straightened out.
yeah.
And the one thing that I will let you know is that you are, and I am in your corner. I am the one person that is in your corner 100%. So if
All
you're
day.
really in trouble, you might want to tell me exactly what happened so I can defend you.
I have to be able to stand up for you because if I find out that what you're telling me is the opposite of what actually happened,
Hmm.
you're making us both. You're really making me look like a fool, and I will not be made to look like a fool in these streets.
Hmm.
I will
I
not be
feel
made
you.
to look like a fool in these streets, and I don't care. And if you're telling me the truth, and if somebody keeps trying to tell you that that's not what happened, and you keep insisting to the point where your emotions are taking over and say this is what happened, then I'm going to say, you know what? I'm gonna stand behind you because you're standing in your truth. You're standing in your truth, and you are emotionally invested in this situation right now, which means I believe you. I
Hmm.
believe you. And I'm going to stand behind you. And that's all you got to do is tell me the truth.
The truth.